Oh, well, welcome. Welcome, everyone. It is Thursday and it is Women's Day. Yes, so perfect day for us to be doing our little get together tonight. And, wow, we are so blessed to have this amazing group of soul sisters, our tribe, our friends, our inspirations, people who support us, have our back. Just our advocates, our lifters, the people who shine light in our lives and all around us in this world. And, we're not everyone has this amazing group of support system around them. And so I feel very blessed to have all of you with us. And um, I see us moving into a whole different paradigm of power that isn't built on tearing each other down, but building each other up instead. And just so proud to have you all be a part of my little space and allow me to be a part of your little space. And hello, Miss Michelle. Good to see your face. And I had the absolute pleasure to spend some time on the phone with our special guest this evening, which you will not be able to see her face, but you will hear her lovely voice. And we went through, her and I, some steps in some of the things that she does. And I was just blown away by what she took me through in a really short period of time. And so I'm really proud that I get to not only have her in my life now, thanks to Miss Liddy, but that I was able to go through that with her today. And so I am just going to step back and hand everything off to my beautiful partner in crime down there, Miss Lady Flam, and have her introduce Magaly and hand it over there. So I'm just going to hand it over to you, Miss Beauty.
Thank you, Jojo. And I believe that I'm actually open on the open side tonight. So Magaly, and I'm just going to say it is a delight to actually have this privilege to actually have you in my pathway and to be able to continue to journey with you and for you to actually draw out of me, the greater that I am. And I know that when you actually create and help cast vision, that you actually have this great understanding about how the brain works and how it is that we actually communicate. So I'm looking forward tonight to introduce my dear friend, my soul sister, somebody that is so compassionate and passionate about being the best that you can be and creating peace on earth. She understands like where there is disharmony, how to bring harmony. She brought that to corporations. Her passion was to the degree of watching what it would do to destroy companies just by not having harmony. And financially, it was destroying them. And they created a vision for corporations to even just work so in sync to the point in which it is that they were able to turn that Titanic around and rise above it. So Magaly, with great pleasure, I just get to say, dear friend, give us your wisdom.
Thank you, Liddy. Can you hear me? Let me just check that first.
Yes, we can.
Very good. Let me just very quickly say that I come to this space having spent most of my corporate life in large corporations like DuPont and International Paper and some of those. And what I was basically bringing to them was their own spirit and a whole lot of what women bring to corporations. So without ever saying something like spirit or compassion or anything like that, we found ways of proving to them that if they're kind to one another, if they will listen to one another, that they actually make more money. And so turnarounds is I think I sent a couple of you some of the turnarounds. And so it comes from a very practical place. But what I'd really like to talk to you about is where some of this stuff actually comes from. Your brain is so amazing. We know a lot more than we think we know, and we can do a lot more than we think we can do. And so I'd kind of like to give you a chance to experience that, to find out for yourself. What have you got that you may not have been paying attention to? But, and for that we need the common language across cultures is imagery, pictures in your brain. And I'd like to show you how that works inside of you first. If you look down, and if you close your eyes for a second and look down at your hands and imagine that you have something in your left hand and something in your right hand. Pay attention to what that is. What's in your left hand, describe it to yourself, and then look at what's in your right hand and describe that to yourself. And I'm going to give you, maybe not enough time, but I'm going to give you just a moment to identify those two pieces. And then I'm going to tell you to have you see what you saw. Okay? If you have got your two items, I don't know if you can wave at me or speak up or something. Okay. Okay, I got several of you waving at me. Great. Well, then we're going to go on, and you can always do it later if you wish. Well, I want you to imagine that what you're seeing in your left hand is a gift that you possess, that you've been given. And in your right hand is a challenge that you're facing. And would any of you be willing to speak up and tell us what you have on your left and your right? Jojo, I can see that you're smiling. Would you be willing to tell us what you got?
Of course. In my left hand, I see a red heart. And in my right hand, I see a piece of crystal quartz.
Crystal quartz. Okay. Well, the red heart is pretty self-explanatory. I would suspect that people would say that you've got a big heart. And so that's a gift, that's really a gift, and you recognize it. That's a gift that you have. Am I right?
Okay. I'm good at that.
Now, the thing about this stuff is that this is the universe talking, and you can't say no.
Right? Okay, yes then.
Okay. So be happy about that one.
Okay.
And then the next one you said is crystal quartz?
Yes.
What does crystal quartz mean to you?
Clearing energy, safe space.
Okay.
Power.
And power, okay. So I'm going to make just a really big, huge guess, and that is that you have in your challenge, which is clarity and power, and as a challenge, that you could open that up more. That's something you have, but sometimes you may not use it or acknowledge it, and that's if you know the language of the dark side of us, everything in us is good. And so the dark side is basically the part we haven't used yet, that we haven't acknowledged, but it's power. And so that I'd pay attention to crystal quartz, because that's your power there, your new power you haven't completely used yet. I don't want to embarrass you, but that's...
Oh, no, it's been the constant message. And my friend Michelle, who's on here, would second that emotion. She's laughing right now.
I'm laughing. Okay. Is there anybody else that would like to try it?
That's right.
Okay. You're Laura.
Yeah, hi.
Hi,
I didn't think you could see us because we can't see you. So in my left hand, I had a rock that was picked up off the beach. So it had a little sand on it. And on the right hand, I had an amethyst crystal with a piece of driftwood.
That's interesting. Now, you're going to have to explain to me the rock. What
Okay.
Tell me about that rock.
I guess I go to the beach a lot. So I pick up things, take pictures of things, draw with them. And I have a lot of rocks in front of my house that kind of surround my plants and in my plants, and I paint on them. So,
And what kind of, was it a small rock, a big rock?
it was like the size that would fit my palm, like with it almost closed, not completely closed.
And
so not huge, but.
Well, let me just say that, and this is my guessing, but my sense is that a rock would represent power, and you're talking about power at the edge of your consciousness. And you bring that power that you pick up and you put it in your front yard, which means you want people to experience it, to know that it's there. Because you don't mind showing your power when it's appropriate. But it's and you see, can I guess that you have, you're pretty courageous about showing some of your unusual talent? You don't mind hiding
some of my unusual talent. Well, I'm a very visual and creative person, so I don't find that unusual, but maybe to people that aren't, it is.
Yeah,
I find it a gift in my life, but it runs through my life in all places. So
that makes a lot of sense. You don't mind showing the edges of who you are. Now the amethyst, interestingly, in our company, we've given out about 35,000 amethysts.
I'll give you my address.
Well, we do it one at a time. But the amethyst for us represents, it meant it was given to kings and rulers and people of high rank. And one of the interesting things a lot of people don't know is that amethysts were given out, they were supposed to avoid people getting drunk. So,
people getting drunk?
Drunk, yes.
Oh.
It would ward away any sort of drunkenness. But amethyst...
does that mean unconscious? Is it the same as unconscious?
Not necessarily. That was just a joke. That was what they in those days. That's what they used to do. So we'd tell people that as we gave them out. But amethysts are also insight, being able to see, third eye. And I don't know if you've developed your ability to see. And perhaps that's something that you're going to enjoy in the future.
I think it's a half path.
I'm sorry?
I said I think it's a half path, meaning I've opened up a lot of spiritual paths, and I'm on the road in that path.
Okay, that would make sense because it was on your right side. It was it's underdeveloped. In other words, there's more there, and you're gonna have fun with that.
Cool.
So fun. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is there one more person who'd be willing to do it?
Michelle, you want to go ahead?
Yeah, I would love to. My stuff is a little bit different. You guys are all so cute. And mine.
Oh, there you are. Now I can see you. Okay.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, it's nice to meet you. In my right hand, I had a stack of $1,000 bills.
Did you say your right hand, not your left hand?
In my right hand. And then in my left hand, I had a handful of diamonds. And they just popped right in.
Oh, my goodness. And on the right, you had $1,000 bills. All right, let's see. On your left hand, diamonds. Okay. That seems to say that you might be pretty aware of your ability to see.
Yeah.
You know? You are. Okay. By any chance, you've developed your abilities in that area?
Yes, I work as a psychic medium.
Well, that makes a lot of sense. Now, on your right side, you're holding these $1,000 bills.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if that means that that you're maybe you're not charging enough. Maybe it's worth what you do is worth more than what you're charging.
Okay.
Because that's the challenge part.
Yeah.
So money,
Yes.
resources, and perhaps charging what you're worth. That might
Okay.
be what's on that side. By the way, neither one of them is bad. Neither the left nor the right is bad. It's just I was just wanting you to see for yourself what you've already kind of developed, and then on the right side, what's still a challenge to you.
Yeah.
So,
That's wonderful.
more money,
Money.
and that's not bad either.
No, not at all.
You can do lots of good stuff with that.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, well,
Thank you.
that's pretty cool. The diamonds, how's that for a clue?
Yay.
Would you like to do it one more time with something else? Would you be willing? It's going to be, of course, you can't say anything, can you? Okay, some of you are nodding. Okay.
Did you, you mean as a collective, or you wanted to use one person?
No, I was gonna give you all something that you could play with. All right, so here's what you have to do. Pick a question, something that you are looking at, and you want to know whether you should, whether you should do this, yes, or you should not do this, no. Okay? So get yourself a decision, I guess. Now, the decision can be anything. It can be, should I buy that house or this house, or should I move to California or go to New York? It can be any of those kinds of, but they got to be completely separate so that you know. And you might want to put it on your left and right hand. It doesn't matter, but you have to know which one you're talking about. Okay, and if you can get an image with it, that's better. So one could be a flower, one could be a rock or whatever. So if you're ready, then close your eyes and imagine the two and see which one of them is most appealing. You know, like, would you give the one on the left a 10 and the other one a 3, or vice versa? Which one of them is the most appealing? And when you're ready, you're going to have to wave at me again. And you can't make a mistake, so don't worry about it. Are you ready? Okay, there's one, I see. 2. There's 3. Trying to make sure that I'm seeing, yes, 4. I'll wait for one more. There we go, there's another hand. All right. Well, let me give you the hint. If I did not explain it but what I'm showing you is that when I think a thought, you will get it. If I ask a question in my mind, you will get it. But we can read it through your images. It's not necessarily something, if those of you that have psychic ability, you know how easy it can be. But what I've developed is a way for everyone to be able to access their inner wisdom. So here's the question. What I asked you was, you know what your question was, and you know that you were looking at yes and no. Whichever one you chose is your answer. And so how many of you got a clear yes? Which and yes, by the way, would mean strong image, positive, healthy, makes you feel good about whatever it is that you saw. And you know your question. So is your question whether you should go to California? The first thing that you see is drooping. And the second thing you see is completely green and lustrous. And so you know the answer there. So the don't go to California is the answer, even though it seems opposite. You'd think it would be all positive, but it isn't. And the way I placed them for you was yes on your left, and or number one, and no for number two. Anybody want to try that one? It doesn't matter if we make what we think is a mistake. It doesn't matter. We're practicing. And
Lindy, do you want to go?
where are you?
Can you hear me?
I'm trying to find you.
Yes.
Lindy, is that you?
Oh, wait, she muted herself. Hang on, let me unmute her.
Can
There
hear
you
me
go.
now?
Yep, we got you.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. In my left hand, I had moving to Texas with my family. My two daughters, which are health practitioners, and one of my son-in-laws is into spirituality and helping people on their path with that. And then the other one was staying here in Minnesota. And that was low frequency. And Texas was real positive, and it was real light, and it was like clear to me.
And is that how you feel about it
Yeah.
on a conscious level?
Yes.
Well, your face shows it. You lit up with Texas.
Right.
Oh, congratulations. That's great. Now you can do this, by the way. Now that you've done it, you can do this. Just imagine it in your mind that yes is the first one, no is the second one. And you can do it either way you want. You can have it make them see a box on the left, number one, or a box on the right, number two. And number two would be the no. But you can switch them. It's up to you. Because what you concentrate on is what the answer is going to be. So, all right. Is there anyone else willing? That's great. Thank you for sharing that one.
You bet.
Anybody else? And help me out, whoever
Yeah,
you can see them all.
I'd like to. This is Kelly. I'd like to.
Kelly. Okay, I got to go this
In
way.
the pink with the seatbelt.
Gotcha. Okay, tell us about your questions.
So I was trying to decide whether I should move to Petaluma, which is where my parents are and where my children have been happy the last month going to school and such, or if I should stay in my community I've been in Brentwood for over 10 years, and where my work is, where I have my animals and clients and such. And so I let the two images kind of come in my mind. I couldn't close my eyes because I'm driving, but I could picture them in my head. Okay. And
I didn't even think about that.
yeah. So, you know, that was not the excuse for the officer. All right, well, and so the image for Petaluma was kind of what I had been passing, which is that rolling, pardon my daughter waking up behind me, which is the rolling green hills. It was like lush grass, rolling green hills. And then the image on my right was where my horses are in pasture right now in the town of Knightson, which is Brentwood. And the grass there is minuscule. It's not lush. It's like 1/4 inch high, and it's kind of barren, and it's not abundant.
So what do you think that means?
Well, Petaluma.
It's interesting that you kind of knew from the beginning, didn't you?
Yes, I was pretty sure I had made the decision I wanted to make, but I mean, the images were very clear.
Isn't it nice to have backup?
Yes, which is why I chose that as my question.
Right. And that's part of what I've discovered is that that you basically get backup for what you already know, but even people in business, and I've done this kind of work with people who run multi-billion-dollar companies, and they need backup too because they're not sure. And if they make a mistake, Wall Street goes crazy. And so it's not Wall Street, but it's important to you. Congratulations.
Thank you. Well, it could be Wall Street for me, and it's tied to our income.
There you go. There you go. It is important.
Thank you.
Thank you, dear. Anybody else? I don't want to go over my time, but I'm going to use these last few minutes. I think you're getting the idea. You hold a thought in your head. I like to write down what I'm thinking so that I don't mix it up, because for the other person, I don't want them to get the wrong guidance. But you write down or think about exactly what you want to ask, and then you can use frames, as I call them. One frame is see a box, see another box, open a door, open another door, and you put the two questions behind, obviously separately. So if you have a chance, find someone who's good at imagery and see if you can ask them some questions that you would like to have answered. It's nice to find someone who maybe is a little spiritually beyond where you are, or at least at your level. Children are fantastic at this. When my son was 8, 9, 10 years old, I used to ask him business questions for DuPont executives, and he would have answers. They were correct. And he would have no clue as to what I was asking him. But it was really helpful. I use this process as a guide through life. And I used the process to see if I should even participate in this conference with you. And it basically showed me that I was going to get a lot of pleasure out of meeting all of you. And I think I am pretty much out of time. Am I correct, Liddy? Or yes? You're muted. Somebody's muted. Hello?
Jojo.
There you are. I've got Liddy now. Is this the end of the hour?
I think that, Jojo, are you trying to unmute yourself? As a matter of fact, Magaly, I know that you're just being able to just give us some of your insights and your wisdom and how it is that you work through that. I know that this was a new practice probably for most people, and trying to walk through that, how to visualize, change simplifier, as I know you call it, or, that in using our intelligence in a different way, and allowing it to be through vision, visualizing that in imagery. And I love the fact that we can actually look at what's in one hand versus the other and say, but I believe that I need a guide. So I know that, can I just call you out at the moment? Like, you're an amazing guide through that. And Magaly, I know that you charge massive amounts of money for that to work in corporations. And you said, Lydia, I've never done this for people other than I just, have gifted some people. And I know that you're trying to figure out like what you're going to do in your life. And I said, gosh, just come on to the call. We want to just put our, reach out and put our arms around you, and know that the way that I would love to gift you is like, I know you love the Amp Knox product. So I'm just going to say, Magaly, gosh, can I just have, some of your time, and can I gift you? So that's what I want to do for you. I just want to know how I can bless you. And so because you blessed us tonight. So over to you, Jojo.
Thank you.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Magaly, so much. Today, part of what we went through was sort of a one-on-one where she took me through my own imagery. So she was my tour guide, but it was a tour guide through my images, not her images. It was a very interesting process. So, I've spent time learning muscle testing and how to sway and how to use a pendulum and things that always are confirming for things that we want to know. And this was just one more step of another tool to be able to use. And I love the imagery. it spot on. It was very interesting. It was very interesting. So thank you so much for your time this afternoon and for taking the time with us tonight. And I hope that everyone got some fun, good new tools that they can use. And if anyone is interested, Magaly, if it's okay, I will put your email on our group page. And if anyone would like to reach out to you so they could maybe have a session or work with you privately, then they would be able to do that.
Absolutely.
Okay. And
I would like to remind you, though, that as simple as it is, you also now have a new tool you can use with other people. You can use other people. I call them oracles, how to use somebody as an oracle. And it's totally fun, and I've had a great time. Thank you so much, all of you.
Thank you so much, and happy Women's Day, everyone. Big kiss to Liddy and to Magaly, and to all of you for playing.
Thank you. Thank you, Magaly. Thank you, Jojo. Thank you, Liddy, and everybody.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, everybody. Happy Women's Day.
Love you all.